Okay. I'm not going to do a proper introduction for this video. This is going to be quite different to anything I've done before, and quite possibly a little different to what you've seen before as well. For anyone who knows me personally on here would most likely know that I love writing. So writing is like one of my biggest therapies. It is the thing that I have to do, that when I go through something, for me to kind of process all my emotions and get over it. Last year was a very big year for me. A lot changed. Probably the biggest year of my life to an extent, which is why I thought it would be appropriate for me to do a 2021 recap. Now, I know everyone on YouTube does these types of things. They recap their lives. Yes, you have seen that before. What's making mine a little different to your usual recap is that I decided to write a letter to my 2021 self. So for this video, I thought, since I had one of the biggest years of my life, that I would write myself a letter. So sit back, relax. I hope you enjoy this video because it is very raw for me, and it's really hard for me to read stuff I've written, even if it's just as simple as a letter. I find it quite hard to open up about my writing with people, so this is a really big video for me especially. So grab yourselves a big bowl of popcorn, triple butter, because we don't settle for anything less here. Go hard or go home, right? Relax, and let's say goodbye to the 2021 version of Ashleigh. Dear 2021, where do I begin? A year of unseen friendships, tears, and heartbreaks. A year of learning, loving, and missing. A year that, despite its challenges, will still come out as one of the best years of my life. I began 2021 unsure of what it was I was doing. All I felt like I did was work, study, and, well, cry. I rarely gave myself the time to process any emotion I was feeling, and kind of just carried on, expecting myself to get over it. Anything that didn't feel quite right, I assumed was me stepping out of my comfort zone. I blamed situations I was in for feeling sad rather than looking at the people I surrounded myself with. I spent months feeling myself slowly start to care less and less about what was happening to me, and started denying my own feelings for things, situations, and people. Now, I know what you're all probably thinking. How does one get themselves into such a state without realizing the actual cause? I asked myself this question for months on end. What was I doing wrong? What direction was I meant to be going in? Was I even living the way that I should be? The answer to all these questions I still don't have. I still don't know what direction my life is going in. I still don't quite understand what went wrong for so many months. But I did work out some things. 2021 taught me that despite how much you love or care about someone or something, sometimes love isn't enough. Love doesn't defy all odds, no matter how much you want it to. You're not supposed to force something that isn't there. If somebody was holding you at gunpoint, would you convince yourself that you have an 100% chance of survival? Most likely not. So, how was it that I felt myself being completely miserable in some of my relationships, yet I still convinced myself that love would conquer all? Life isn't meant to be easy, it's meant to be messy, unexpected, irrational even, but most of all, it's meant to be enjoyed. Whether that means eating ice cream at 3 a.m. in the morning with a stranger, or studying your butt off to get the degree you've spent years dreaming about. Life isn't meant to make sense, but you are meant to make sense of what you're feeling and experiencing. The best things in life don't always come at once. You do have to be patient. But you should be feeling your best in close to all experiences that you encounter. Each situation you end up in should either end or begin with a smile. It shouldn't make you feel like you want to run away, because as an adult especially, you're making all of your own decisions. And if they're your decisions to make, then why would you choose to leave? 2021. For months you saw me questioning myself. You saw me denying what my heart felt and watched me listen to my head. You saw me ask for advice yet still not take it on board. You saw me laugh a little bit too hard, and you saw me cry for hours on end. You saw me judging every aspect of my personality, my looks, my achievements. You saw my insecurities, my hopes, and my downfalls. But you also saw me learn how to love them all. That for the first time in my 24 years of living, I finally understood what it meant to put myself first, and that meant cutting off people who didn't radiate the energy I was giving out. It meant that I still gave so much love to people who didn't deserve it, because that's just who I am as a person. I'm kind, I'm forgiving, and I'm a hopeless romantic.
Hey, having a good time.
That skeleton's like, hi, how you doing? How you doing?
Coraline? I'm feeling scared for my life. Send help!
2021, you taught me that I was worth it. It meant not giving the same amount of chances to someone despite wanting to, because valuing myself and making sure I was the top priority in almost all situations is what my life is about. It's not my job to make someone feel worth it. I shouldn't have to sacrifice my happiness to give another person theirs. Because if I am, then that's teaching myself that I'm not good enough. In 2021, you taught me that I am good enough. Good enough to be loved despite feeling like it's out of my reach. That I am good enough to get through any situation that is thrown at me. I just have to make sure I go through it with a level head. That I am smarter than I give myself credit for, and that doubting my own abilities is not what I should be doing. But most importantly, I am by far one of the most hardworking people I have ever met. I strive for perfection just a little bit too much, but that's what makes me unstoppable. Making sure I'm working towards a better and brighter future for myself is what I'm all about. Because before 2021, I was not that girl. I was not always given opportunities where I could get everything I ever wanted. I was not always striving for success, but more so for comfort. I did enough to get through a situation, but never really fully resolved all the feelings I had. I never processed what it was that I went through. I continued to let the bad times bring me down by reliving every heartbreak I had ever experienced. My mood was reliant on the person who had my heart rather than on myself and how I was actually doing. 2021. Now that you're over, I can close that door. I can step into a world where I value myself and my own opinions. I can start to live the life that I really want. Because the ending 5 months of 2021, I really fell back into my personality. My anxiety disappeared and my worries just kind of started to float away. My lack of confidence, although not fully resolved, has definitely come a very, very long way. So here I am, single, going into my final year of university, sitting in my own apartment, surrounded by some of the most beautiful people in the entire world. And I realized that maybe, just maybe, 2021 was the year that I needed to get back on my feet, to finally feel alive again, to finally find myself and my independence, to finally start not only a chapter into my life, but a whole friggin' book. Because I don't only deserve a chapter in my own story. I don't deserve to only make an occasional appearance. So 2022, get ready. Because this book, well, it's gonna be a good one.